Hi all, I'm Trisha Peach, host of the Peach Buzz, and I do apologize for taking a couple weeks to get this video up. I am sorry, I have been traveling a lot. I'm actually in my camper right now. It's getting all packed up for VBS, traveling again. I got my VBS, this is my Circus Barker hat. So, like, come on, come on. So I'm headed to Adams next. I just did a girls' camp at Spencer Lake. That was really fun. I had a great time. I'm doing another VBS at our church, and I've been traveling quite a bit, and I'm enjoying it. Those who know me know that I love it. And I had kids' church this morning, just run, run, run. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips from my vacation. I went way up north, almost, closing in on Canada, up by the Apostle Islands in Wisconsin. I was in Mellon, Copper Falls. Now, my vacation was so much fun. We were there 8 days. I think I was the only one that had a great time. I feel bad about that, but I really did have a good time. It was really cold the first 3 days. Like, the high was 55 and the mosquitoes were so bad. I was inhaling them. They were going in my ears, down my throat. Ugh. And if you stick around to the end, I will show you some of the clips from my vacation, some of the neatest moments. I love waterfalls, so I took a lot of video of waterfalls that we saw. We were looking at all the waterfalls around Copper Falls, and I got some video of a snapping turtle. But it was really a fun, awesome, energizing vacation. So the reasons that pastors have trouble going on vacation, okay? Well, I think, number one, you have to believe that it's important. You have to understand how crucial it is that pastors get a vacation. You know that I wrote my doctoral thesis on the real reasons pastors quit. The number one reason cited is burnout. I don't really like that term because it encompasses so many different scenarios. It doesn't really tell me everything. So burnout, you've got exhaustion, overwork, too many hours. Many times it also means this person is not in the right area. So they're spending all of their time on things that drain them, things that they're not really good at, and they are not in the area that they're called, where they want to be doing ministry, so they're not getting enough of that. An example of this would be a children's pastor that desperately wanted to work with the kids, be hands-on with the kids, and they're spending 95% of their time on, say, paperwork and administrative and keeping all the holes filled, that kind of thing. So if you're not in your sweet spot, you're going to burn out a whole lot faster, really quickly. But burnout is the number one. And I noticed, I put this in my thesis, I'll put a link down here so you can click on that if you want to. I will warn you, it's very dry, very technical, because it's a research paper for a doctorate. But I talk about how, I think it's 46% of all Americans don't take their vacation days, they never use them. A lot of that 46% are pastors. Pastors are notoriously terrible about not taking their vacation days. They're really terrible about it. Why? I think part of it is, number one, where American culture has seeped into the church. It's not a good thing. So pastors feel like the more hours they work, the better Christian they are, the better pastor they are. We also have this awful consumer mentality that has seeped into the church that says we're going to hire a professional Christian, aka the pastor, and the pastor's going to do all that Christian stuff while we, the church, sit back and critique. That's not scriptural. So the pastor's job is to empower the congregation to do the work of the ministry. As my dad would always say, shepherds don't give birth to sheep, sheep begat sheep. Well, in this kind of thinking, the pastor feels like they're a better pastor, they care about their church more, and they're more dedicated, maybe even holier, if they don't take their vacation days and they work ridiculous hours on and on and on. The problem is 4 out of 5 pastors leave ministry forever by year 5. So you're not doing anyone a favor when you burn out and drop out. You're not doing your family a favor, you're not doing your church a favor. And by the way, when the smoke clears, your family's supposed to be still there with you. And as you know, I think it's 42% of all pastors' marriages end in divorce. So your family needs to be a much higher priority than your church. I know we all want to be at the same church for life, and I think that'd be wonderful. That'd be fantastic. 92% of pastors don't get that. They end up moving to a different ministry, moving to a different church, and I understand that pastors have a reputation for moving way too much. We switch churches way too much. But you have to remember that God may move you in ministry, but your family is supposed to stay intact. So that has to be a priority over your church ministry. There's a difference between working for God and spending time with God. There's a study I quote in my thesis that the average pastor spends less than 10 minutes a day in prayer. And I think we feel we don't have to because we're working for God anyway. Not good, not good. So that number one is we're so wrapped up in American westernized culture that we think it's a good idea to skip our vacation days. No, you need them. You should take all of them. Every paid vacation day you have, you need to take it for the sake of your family, for the sake of your spirit. You need to take every single paid vacation day you have without apology. 2, a lot of pastors don't go because of fear that the building is going to fall down while they're gone. I mean, not the literal building, maybe so. I heard pastors talking about it again just the other day. They said, every time I leave town, something terrible happens. My own father, he had just left with my mom for Texas because her family lives in Texas, and the associate pastor at their church died. He was elderly, but he passed away, and my dad wanted to go back to Wisconsin. My mom said, absolutely not. We've driven 2 days to get here. And he said, why is it every time we leave town something like this happens? It probably is not every time you leave town, but if you feel like you can never leave town ever, or the church is going to fall down and fall apart and everybody's going to leave, then there is a bigger problem there. There's a problem with not mentoring people, not getting someone in charge that can take over for you while you're gone. Sometimes the pastor has a control problem and can't let go of control during those days and just really check out of that and check in on the family and on their relationship with God. So if you're checking your cell phone the entire time, that's not really a vacation. And I'm talking to myself here because that was one my husband had to say, stop it, cut it out. So there's this whole feeling of I'm responsible for this church, I'm responsible for these people, and something bad's going to happen. Somebody's going to get offended and everybody's going to leave the church and I'm going to come back and it's going to be a mess. You have to begin training people up that can do the work of the ministry while you're gone, because you're not doing them any favors if you're doing everything, you and your spouse, and when anything happens to you, if you do go on to another ministry or retire, you're not going to be there forever. All ministry positions are eventually temporary. I'm going to repeat that. All ministry positions are temporary, all of them, whether it's, someone passes away or you move to another church or whatever, and you're setting them up for failure if they can't function at all without you. They're completely and totally dependent on you. Ooh, no, that's not a good situation. So 3, I've actually had pastors say this, literally. They'll say, I can't go on vacation because I'm so tired and I'm so burned out, I can't plan for a vacation. And what do they mean by that? I know exactly what they mean by that. Because we can't just go on vacation. It's not like a different job. And I can tell you cannot understand this unless you have been in ministry, unless you've been a pastor. You don't just turn it off easily. But it actually takes a lot of work to actually get to go on vacation. So let's say you're going to be gone for the 8 days I was gone. I had to have somebody, covering my week of kids church. I had to trade out people on Wednesday night kids ministry. I had to, I teach fitness classes. I had to get coverage for that. I had to, there's a million and one things that you have to get done. You know, what are you going to do with the dog? What are you going to do with your pets at home? So you got all this stuff at home and all this stuff at work that you have to get covered. And it's a lot of work. And I would not lie to you and say, oh no, you just go on that vacation. It's not that simple. It is a lot of work. But here's the thing. It has to be so important to you. It has to be such a priority that you put it on your calendar, you plan for it, you fight for it, and you defend it. And don't ask, don't apologize. Don't say, is this week okay? No, you put it on the calendar and say, this is the week I'm going to be gone. Now let's start planning for it. And I mean like 9 months in advance. This is the week I'm going to be gone. Let's plan for it. Let's get her done, right? So the excuse I get from this typically is, well, Trish, you don't understand. I'm in a larger church or medium-sized church. You don't understand. I can't leave. We have too many things going on. Oh, I was on staff at a church of 3,000. We were working many hours, 70 hours a week, 4 services every weekend, plus a midweek service. There was so many things going on every night of the week, and I made a way to go on vacation. I would have to start 9 months in advance and just fight for it. And when you're already tired and you're already burned out, it's hard to do that. I know, but I know it's also possible. And if somebody's like, oh, well, I don't know how you could be gone during our busiest season. Listen, I figured out we kids pastors don't have a down season. We don't have a down season. We're busy in the summer. We've got the fall kickoffs when they go back to school. We've got Christmas stuff going on. Then there's Easter. Then we've got all the summer outreaches and just tons of summer VBS outreaches. There's no such thing as a downtime for a kids pastor, and usually not for a senior pastor either. Okay, you have so much going on. So whatever time you pick, you can't ask for everybody else to love it, and you need to prepare yourself. They might say, how dare you go on vacation then? And you can say, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. This is when we're going, so let's plan on having coverage for this. You can't let everyone dictate when you're going to go, or you will never go. The other dumb excuse I hear is, well, you know, the Levites didn't take Saturdays off. They had to work, and okay, we're not going all Old Testament here. And secondly, it doesn't say the Levites never took a day off. And you need to, God said, take 1 day in 7 to rest. And most pastors add to scripture there. They'll say, take 1 day in 7 to rest, unless you're a pastor. And I challenge you to stop adding to the Word of God there. It says, take 1 day in 7 to rest. And I would include, you know, if you have paid vacation days and you're not taking them, I'm sure somebody else would really love to have those paid vacation days and you can't give it to them. So 1 day in 7 to rest, and my Sabbath never just happens. I have to fight for it. I have to plan it. You know, use that out of office, use that voicemail, and that's what I do on vacation too. I change my voicemail, out of office manager, I put someone qualified in charge that can make those decisions and fix it, and only one person that can get hold of me if it really is a real emergency. But then, I mean, I was up at Copper Falls, I had almost no signal. So that's one good part about my traveling and about being at camps in the middle of nowhere or camping, because I can say, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have signal. But you got to find a way. You have to find a way, somebody that you can put in charge when you're going to be gone. It's worth fighting for. It is worth fighting for because your marriage is worth fighting for. Your family, your relationship with your kids is worth fighting for. My dad always said, what does it gain a person to win the whole world and lose their own children? Now the scripture verse is, what does it profit a man to win the whole world but lose their own soul? And I've seen a lot of pastors have that happen too. They win a lot of people to Jesus and lose their own soul, lose their own spouse, lose their kids or kids don't believe anymore. This has to be a priority, and you have to fight for it. So I hope then that you have heard this and have some ideas of what to do. You need to change your voicemail, change your out-of-office responder, put someone in charge that is really good, that will contact you if it's a real emergency. Can I also say, don't give out your phone number to everybody in church? Please don't. Please don't do that. If you have, change your number and give it out to one person that can be trusted to know what a real emergency is. Put that vacation on the calendar and guard it. Fight it for it, defend it. Don't apologize for it. Say this is happening. And if they say, well, our other pastors didn't take a week or 2 weeks of vacation at once, you could say, oh, that's great. This is when we're taking vacation, and let's get some coverage for it. What happens there is someone trained them that pastors don't take vacations, and if they've been trained one way, they can be trained another, and they need to be trained that this pastor, you are taking your vacation, and that's how it's going to be. Don't argue, don't try to give reasons, don't apologize. It's just, this is what I'm doing. And you have to remember, most people sitting there in the seats, they don't have a clue. I don't think you can understand unless you have been in ministry. I think, I was a kid, I was maybe 16, and my dad's a pastor, and I heard somebody say, whoa, pastor, that must be so great. You get paid to come up here and give a 30-minute sermon, and then the rest of the week sit back there with your feet up on your desk. I wanted to go all Nehemiah on them right there. I thought, how could they think that? My dad works his tail off all week, and I realized they have no idea what he does all week. And the majority of your church people have no idea what you do all week. They have no idea. They think you do one 30-minute sermon, an occasional funeral, wedding, and baby dedication, and the rest of the time nothing. Why would you need a vacation? You're going to have to train them, and I don't think they can understand the depth of what you do and the stress, but it is taxing emotionally, it is taxing physically, it is taxing spiritually. It drains you, and it is go, go, go. It is way too many hours. So I wouldn't apologize for that. You can try to educate your congregation as to, okay, here's all the things that I'm involved in, and I will be taking this vacation, a real vacation, and prioritizing my family. If they can't understand that, they're going to have to be trained to understand that, but no matter what, you still have to take that vacation. One last excuse I've heard is, well, you don't understand, Trish, because, you were on staff at these large churches. I'm on staff at a little tiny church, and everything is on me. I can't take a vacation. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Everything being on you is not healthy. You can't do that forever. You cannot. And you're going to have to fight for that vacation. Even if you're tired or burned out, I would even say maybe some of those programs need to die. You need to pull the plug on them. If you're the only one fighting for them and in there working on them, then they may need to go away, unless someone has the heart and the passion to take it up for you. But I do understand, because I grew up in a very small church, and I know what that's like, where everything is depending on you and you do so much. I think it's even more crucial then that you get out and get that vacation. Okay, so did I upset you? You can comment down below. Tell me about your latest vacation. Please do. Maybe share a picture or two. I'd love that. And I'm going to close here with some video clips from my vacation I hope you love. And I hope I've inspired you to please prioritize your family, prioritize your relationship with Jesus, prioritize self-care, because I'm just begging you, I don't want to lose any more wonderful pastors to burnout when we don't have to. All right? Take those vacations. All right. Check out these clips from my vacation. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do, and I will see you next week on the Peach Buzz. Bye-bye. Potato Falls from a little further down.
Straight drop off up here, so.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sheer cliff?
Yeah, you would land on rock.
Oh man, that's not good.
Small underwater side.
Can they go further down? Ooh, let's go, Greg.
Yes.
You can go further.
Eva, no.
You're close enough, kid. Right there, close enough.
And this time, I'm at a very remote waterfall, Potato Falls. No, I'm not kidding. It's called Potato Falls. You can see it falling into this gorge. Probably can't see how deep it goes. But it's so beautiful. Stunning. Here we've got the beautiful Copper Falls right off the Doughboy Trail. There's my beautiful sister and her beautiful daughter. Absolutely stunning. Cold and there's a whole ton of mosquitoes, but it is gorgeous. Look at that. And this, the majestic Copper Falls State Park. And this is right off the Horseshoe Doughboy Trail. Waterfalls, lots of greenery. My beautiful niece. Say hi, Eva. She's so cute. Absolutely stunning. The pictures and the video do not do it justice. Eliana, what's your favorite part of the trip so far? Hiding from the camera. Wish I had night crawlers to give you, you big guy, you. I would if I could.